Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought Angel Reese was dedicating this season to
winning.
I thought Mama Reese, who also happens to be named Angel, very, very confusing. I thought juniors and seconds were reserved for men, but with some of these ladies in the dump doing their best to emulate men, I guess it kind of makes sense. But anyway, I thought Mama Reese was taking over primary duties of clapping back at the haters, so Junior Reese could focus on winning pretend basketball games. When you think about it from an attention seeker's perspective, it does kind of make sense. Angel Reese hasn't been able to maintain attention by uploading provocative pictures to her dwindling following of lonely men. She hasn't been able to maintain attention with her shitty podcast that no one is watching. She threatened to sit out pretend basketball games if the WNBA refused to pay her what she thinks she is worth, which at this point, with Angel Reese making around $80,000 a year, I think she's vastly overpaid. With these attention-seeking strategies all ending in huge embarrassing failure, perhaps Angel Reese thought the best way to satisfy her unending desire to be validated was to win pretend basketball games in the WNBA. But the problem with this strategy, Angel Reese is not an impact player. You know who Angel Reese reminds me of? Derek Carr, or as he is known to the good people of New Orleans, Donnie. Like Donnie, Angel Reese puts up good numbers. She looks real good on paper. Yesterday, Angel Reese Jr. achieved another one of her meaningless double-doubles. 17 rebounds, 12 unimpactful points. She even achieved what most, myself included, thought was previously impossible. Angel Reese made several wide-open layups. Her hard work in the offseason is paying off. She's going to be the biggest star in the league. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. As good as Angel Reese was, the Chicago Bravado lost by 36 points. It was a fitting spread because 36 equals the number of family and friends who were watching that game yesterday to see Angel Reese. The 17,000 or so in the arena and the potentially 1, 2, 3 million watching at home, we were watching to see Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese knows it, which is why she continued her attention-seeking antics yesterday throughout the game. Much like Donnie Carr, Angel Reese relies on the dramatics to generate attention, because just like Donnie, she can't maintain attention based on skill. And the attention-seeking behavior, it started immediately yesterday as Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado decided that they were going to disrespect the country by refusing to come out for the national anthem. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. According to Dave Portnoy over at Barstool, the Chicago Bravado, they refused to come out yesterday for the national anthem. Now keep in mind, just seconds earlier, they were on the court for pregame warm-ups. In the NBA, pregame warm-ups consist of players shooting uncontested shots with over 90% of them being nothing but net. In the WNBA, pre-game warm-ups are essentially daily exercise for the ball boys, or the ball girls, or ball theys, thems, who knows? Shots are going up all over the place, and they're hitting everything but the rim. They're landing in the front row, the scorer's table. Young kids seeing this for the first time, they think WNBA players are playing dodgeball. Once the daily calisthenics ended, it was time for the national anthem. Instead of remaining on the court, the Chicago Bravado, they wasted much needed energy by walking all the way to the back just to skip the national anthem. Maybe that's why they got their ass kicked. They wasted so much energy running off the court so they would not be exposed to that emotionally painful, heartbreaking song. By the time they made it back on the court, they had reached their daily maximum of steps for the day. They had no energy left to play pretend basketball. Halfway through the third quarter, the game was essentially over. It was over. The Chicago Bravado, they were down by 14 points. But KC, that's not an overwhelming deficit. NBA teams can erase a 14-point deficit in a couple of minutes. Yeah, NBA players can also make shots. If you're sitting courtside at an NBA game, you don't have to wear a catcher's mask to protect you from erratic balls. A 14-point deficit in the WNBA, at least for a team that's being led by Angel Reese, that's equivalent to a 40-point deficit in the NBA with less than a minute to go in the game. Midway through the third quarter, game is essentially over. The Bravado have the ball. They're dribbling haphazardly up the floor. Angel Reese gets the ball in the post, and she has a wide open lane for an easy layup. For reasons unknown, Caitlin Clark decides to foul. It was a rare lapse in judgment from Caitlin Clark. All she had to do was let Angel Reese attempt the wide open layup. The ball would bounce off the bottom of the backboard or end up in some poor kid's lap in the front row. Either way, the Indiana Felines would have possession. But instead, Caitlin Clark decides to foul Angel Reese. Maybe she was just looking out for her. Maybe she was trying to prevent Angel Reese from humiliating herself again on national television. The problem is, Angel Reese didn't appreciate the gesture. She immediately loses her temper. She could not believe Caitlin Clark stole her moment. Angel Reese gets off the ground very slowly, because everyone seems to be moving in slow motion in the WNBA. And Angel Reese approaches Caitlin Clark, trying to fight her. Watch for yourself.
And look how Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin Clark. Afterwards has something to say as Clark walks away. Always increased eyeballs, energy, and attention around the matchups between Reese and Clark, and Angel Reese is
You know what my favorite part about this was? For starters, Caitlin Clark knew exactly how Angel Reese was going to react to this. She knew Angel Reese would lose her temper. She knew she would try to cause a scene. Caitlin Clark, she walked away from Angel Reese like she didn't matter. She was not going to pour fuel on the flaming ass fire. She wasn't going to give Angel Reese the attention that she desired. Caitlin Clark was not going to make this a thing. She walked away from Angel Reese like she didn't matter. Caitlin Clark was given a flagrant foul, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. To make matters worse, the announcers for ESPN, they were damn near spanking the wanker, begging WNBA officials to punish Caitlin Clark. This is white privilege! The white girl is trying to oppress our innocent Angel! As I was watching this live yesterday afternoon, it was the perfect illustration of the difference between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. One of them needs the dramatics. One of them needs the controversy, while the other is just there to play basketball. Thing is, though, outside of Caitlin Clark, the rest of the WNBA, they need the controversy too. Full transparency here. I don't like the WNBA. I've never liked the dump. The only reason I watch is because you guys seem to like it when I talk about it. Otherwise, I would not be wasting a Saturday afternoon watching the Indiana Felines and the Chicago Bravado. Now, that being said, I tried to go into this yesterday with an open mind. I did my best to be objective. I didn't get home until later yesterday afternoon, so I missed the first game between whoever the hell was playing. The TV was on when I walked in the house and I heard someone talking. Initially, I thought someone was interviewing Samuel L. Jackson. There was a deep voice coming out of the speakers. But as I rounded the corner into the living room, I noticed that ESPN was interviewing Natasha Cloud. I did manage to sit through all 4 quarters of Caitlin Clark's game. Now, to her credit, Caitlin Clark is an exciting player. I do enjoy watching her. I also thought it was a very nice touch that they were trying to get Wanda Bonner or DeWanda Bonner, whatever the hell her name is. I thought it was a nice touch that the Indiana Felines were going out of their way to get her points so she could move up on the all-time scoring list. Hell, they had to do something to make that game entertaining, because outside of the altercation that Angel Reese tried to start, that game was an absolute slog. My wife loves basketball. She doesn't really get into the NFL too much, but she enjoys watching the NBA. She doesn't miss a game during the regular season. Even though we don't have a team in the playoffs, she is watching with me every night. By the time we made it to halftime yesterday of that game, my wife was asking me to watch something else. Now, I told her I had to finish the game, but she couldn't watch it anymore. And I couldn't blame her. I can't tell you how many times I watched Caitlin Clark throw a beautiful pass in transition, only for one of her teammates to fumble the ball out of bounds. Airballed threes, missed layups. Check this out. This is how Angel Reese dribbles the ball up the court. It's also how my 8-year-old nephew dribbles the ball up the court. There's no control. There's no fluidity to it. It's an absolute disaster. I know it was the first game of the season, and I'm trying very, very hard here not to be extra critical. I'm trying to give the WNBA a chance because I feel like I owe it to you guys. You guys like hearing me talk about the dump. The least I can do is watch it. But it's tough. And this is why I keep saying the WNBA needs the dramatics. They need the controversy. The only reason that game was interesting yesterday, at least to me, was the dynamic between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Like I've told you guys before, I think Angel Reese is at serious risk of being overshadowed, and she knows it. The media has been celebrating Paige Bueckers all weekend. Remember last month when she was drafted and the media was claiming that tickets were selling out in Dallas? Friday night, the Dallas Wankers opened the season at home. There were empty seats everywhere. There were 1,000 tickets available in a civic center that only seats 7,000. This is what I'm talking about. Outside of Caitlin Clark, the basketball is not enough. Paige Bueckers came into the league with a shitload of mainstream exposure. She can't sell out her home opener, and I would imagine it is going to get worse. I was not impressed by what I saw yesterday. Maybe the teams were rusty. Maybe chemistry will develop as the season progresses. But this is the same problem that the WNBA has had for the last 30 years. The product on the court, it just isn't good. You need the storylines. You need the dramatics. Hell, the NBA is better with storylines and rivalries, and they're the best basketball players in the world. So it's not necessarily a knock against the WNBA for saying that they need the same thing. But here's the difference. With the NBA, rivalry storylines, those are a bonus. In the WNBA, it is a requirement. But anyway, give me your thoughts on this. Angel Reese tries to fight Caitlin Clark and gets treated as an afterthought. Caitlin Clark had no interest in giving Angel Reese the attention that she desires. Angel Reese and the Bravado, they also skipped the national anthem. Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.